Green Interwebs, it's Jack and K, and welcome for another edition of Game and Joe. Gonna take the easy route this month and just do this post commentated and figure out the gameplay I want to go along with it after the fact. I wanted to at least record a game chill today because I didn't stream yesterday, but I'm not sure if I have the energy to sit down and do a full commentary for an hour or however long game chill normally goes. So I want to just go through basic announcements of content related stuff for the month and decide if I'm up to doing the full-fledged game and chill format later on in editing. So going into the month of September, I think I'm gonna keep the trend from the previous month going because it worked out pretty well for me. The whole Golden Sun Dungeon upload Monday and Friday, Paper Mario randomizers every Wednesday, and if there's miscellaneous VODs from streams that don't really fit into that schedule I want to share, I'll save those for Saturday uploads as well. Probably not going to be as many as last month because I haven't been streaming as much. And when I have been streaming, it's mostly been Dungeon. And I don't think it's going to be quite like last month where I had something every single day of the month. Everything's already scheduled for Dungeon and Paper Mario randomizer upload. But I've only been streaming every Saturday for a bit. And even then, like I said, like yesterday, which was a Saturday, I didn't stream at all. So when I have been streaming, it mostly has been for recording Dawn of the Djinn. So I don't have as many miscellaneous stuff to share. And on the tangent of miscellaneous things, I better say this now before it gets too deep into the video, but unfortunately, Pokemon Coliseum Randomizer has been cancelled. Mostly due to factors beyond my control, but I'll admit if I actually was more motivated and enjoying the post-game of Coliseum more, I would be more motivated to go out my way to try and save it. So what happened was, the software that I normally use to run it stopped working, so I was fiddling around with things. I thought I'd just reinstall everything, not realizing that would mean losing my save files. Until after the fact. So now I don't have a save file for Pokemon Coliseum for the most part. I did have everything backed up on another hard drive, so I was able to recover something, but that backup save file was way before I actually completed the game, so I would have to replay a lot of the game to get back up to the point where I was at, and I don't know, I kept waiting for the moment where I started enjoying the Coliseum post-game. And I'll admit, even now I'm thinking that I was just one recording session away from the point where I actually started to enjoy the Coliseum post-game. And of course that's when that's of course when I lost the save file and everything, but it's just like, that just kind of just put the nail in the coffin. It's not worth trying to recover that. I'd rather focus that time and energy into the new project I've been waiting to do after completing my playthrough of Coliseum Randomizer. I'm not going to say too much right now because as of recording this Game Chill, I still haven't quite found the opportunity to start recording that. I'm really on the fence of if I want to stream it or if it's something I want to do if I want to record offline so I can put the time and care into it that one of my older playthrough videos would be, like have a separate recording for my commentary versus the game footage and audio, all that fancy video editing stuff. But it's been kind of hard to find the time right now to do something like that, especially with how deep into Sweet Expedition, the Paper Mario fan project I've been working on. Plus, I may or may not be starting to work on Dawn of the Djinn version 2 again. Like, it's been a little harder to find spare time since I've gotten into the MOD scene. You know what I mean. Someday though, and that day is a lot sooner than it was before I canceled Pokemon Coliseum Randomizer. And despite how long it's been taking me to get into it, I am really excited to do it. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that I really want to share my blind experience of this with all of you, I would have just gone ahead and played this on my own time a long time ago. Again, this was the thing that got me to do Coliseum Randomizer. I only didn't do this first because I thought it would be only fair with how long it's been to revisit Coliseum before revisiting this game. Though in hindsight, I kind of wonder if I should have just done this first, because this is much more interesting than just a randomizer. So, considering Coliseum Randomizer was kind of the point where I started doing classic video games with a twist on the channel, this thing I'm preluding probably started that whole entire direction in the first place. I just wish it hasn't been so long since I got a chance to get started on it. But before I get into the tangent of all the other things I've been up to that have kind of been quote-unquote distracting me from starting this new playthrough, I'm gonna take a break. I'm sure I'll have plenty of opportunities to play video games between when I record this and when I upload it to screen capture something that'll make good for the background. Honestly, if I was thinking about it, I should have just like had my recorder going for when I was doing Splatfest and all that, because Global Test Fire, whatever we're calling the Splatoon 3 demo, happened. Of course, the freaking GoFest finale and that would happen on the same day. That's honestly, that's the reason I didn't stream, just all that going on. And by the time I got home from GoFest, I was feeling so tired that I don't think I would have been up to commentating and playing the Splatoon stuff at the same time anyway. So I decided just to take the day off. Plus, it gives me more time to retake things if I'm interrupted or don't feel great, or words don't come out of my mouth as well. It just all kind of feels like it would work better for this kind of modern day. Which is a bit of a shame, honestly, because I've been looking forward to playing Legends Arceus again, and haven't really had a chance to do so since the last game show. Just kind of weird. I have picked up a bunch of games, but honestly, like, I haven't really gotten into any of them. Like, I picked up Corona, and I enjoyed that, but it feels like every other level I get literally lost in it. So I think that's why I haven't picked that up in a bit. Now that I think of it though, I'll probably give it another go soon. I might have mentioned it when I was playing Cooking Princess, that Paper Mario mod Dexter did. And how that really got me into wanting to try Overcook, and honestly, I actually did buy Overcooked. It's a little ironic because you'd think that the story would end with me becoming an Overcooked fan because of that. But no, actual Overcooked kinda sucks. I don't actually like it. For one, like, I tried to play it on Steam and it just wouldn't work. Like, I boot it up and get to actually start the game and I just get stuck in an infinite loading screen loop. And then eventually I gave up and got refunded and decided to buy it physically for the Switch. And when I actually got to play it, it just didn't really feel fun. Like, I guess that's not completely true. It started out fun, but it just, like, I feel like I get stuck in it way too easily, and that's just the part that's not fun. Like, it's specifically, I remember that I got stuck on the one level where it splits apart. That level just sucks. It feels like no matter how I do it, that I just can't get into the rhythm of doing it, and just obviously Overcooked's made to be a multiplayer experience. It at least is perfectly playable single player, but it just doesn't. but it didn't work in the way that I thought it would. Like, I thought if you're making a single player experience, you would make it with one person in mind instead of have just like 2 characters that you control at once, but not at the literal same time. That would probably have been fun for my multitasking brain, but no, instead you just have 2 characters and you press a button to switch between the 2, and that's how they implement single player. So honestly, like, I've never really been much of a multiplayer person, so buying Overcooked was probably a mistake to begin with, but I don't know, I played that, and I know I enjoyed Diner Dash when I played it oh so long ago, and so I thought I would like Overcooked even though I didn't have anyone to play with, but nope. And I don't really want to play Overcooked with other people, because I just hear all these things about just like, it just sounds like there's so much coordination you have to do between people. And like, I rather enjoy cooperative experiences with friends rather than competitive experiences with friends, but just, you see too many people play Overcooked and it just boils down to yelling at your friends, and that's kind of not the way I play video games. It's kind of the same reason why I never got into Among Us, actually, because I'm not really the type that actually gets enjoyment out of, well, that type of gameplay. Like, I'm not. Funny enough, I think it ties back to the whole not really being a fan of the drama, to the point where it turns me off of things that most people consider actually good experiences, not just in video games but in media as a whole. Probably part of the reason why I'm not even a fan of television or movies either. But what was all that about Overcooked? I really want to like Overcooked, but I just can't seem to get in the swing of it. I bought the version of the game that has both Overcooked 1 and 2, as well as all the DLC and some extra things. So I think eventually I'm gonna try Overcooked 2 before completely giving up on it, but it's just not looking too promising. So I was probably better never picking it up. But at least now I have it, if I ever find myself in a situation where people want to play Overcooked, and for some reason I actually want to play Overcooked with other people, I suppose. Let's see, what other games that I try to get into and completely abandon, because that's apparently the theme of this Game and Chill. There's one other in particular, like, because with Kelowna, I at least know I am perfectly very happy with that, with getting that game, even if I suck at it, because that's a series that needs a lot more love to begin with, and it at least has nice music and a good theme and all that. And okay, actually I got my Switch pulled up because I couldn't remember the 3rd game. Ironically, this is one that I had for a while, so it's not a new Super Game Show. In fact, I think I even had Kelowna before during the last Game and Chill. It just wasn't on my mind to talk about. But the 3rd game that I'm thinking about is Bug Fables. It's a game that everyone loves, especially those who are fans of classic Paper Mario RPGs. But when I first started playing it, I was playing it in handheld, and my Switch Joy-Con has terrible drift. I just haven't really felt up to buying new Joy-Cons, because like, this would be the 3rd pair of Joy-Con controllers I got. So, like, some time ago, I actually got back into giving Bug Fables a try, and playing on a TV with my Pro Controller, funny enough, was a lot more enjoyable experience. I still think I'm in the slow part of the game, because I just finished Chapter 1, so I'm still reserving my judgment, because if I were to share my judgment now, it wouldn't be as good as I think the game is gonna get. Eventually, so I just gotta find the time to actually get back into playing it. Funny enough though, even more than those 3 things, I've been playing Golden Sun Dark Dawn again. Those of you who've been following me for a very long time may have known that I started a female party member only run of the game. It's probably been one of the longest going things in my entire life, and it's not even because it's hard. It's just like something I got into early YouTube, lost interest in it, and then like 5-6 years later, I'm like, I want to play Dark Dawn again. You know, I have this save file of my Girls Only run right beyond the halfway point, so why don't I just resume that? It'd be a way to get back into the action of that game without playing through the very long and drawn out opening part of the game. So, kind of why I was doing that, and I think anyone that's actually played Dark Dawn already knows this, but Savetta is broken, Savetta breaks games, Savetta is probably half the reason why so many Golden Sun fans complain about Dark Dawn being too easy. But it's just, I don't complain about her making the game too easy, because it's like, at least I don't want to, because it's like, yes, she makes it easy, but it's also one of the few times in Dark Dawn that they actually deviate from the Golden Sun formula, and in my opinion, it deviates from it in a very cool way. It's kind of in a similar vein to how, like, Weapon Unleashes work in Dark Dawn. Savetta and that are probably the only two things that are actually different gameplay-wise from the original Golden Sun, which personally I'm cool with because I love the original stuff from the original Golden Sun. It's probably why I keep coming back to the games and freaking making Dawn of Jin and stuff like that, even though the series is over 20 years old at this point. That said, I think it would have only helped the series if they deviated just a tiny bit more. You know, like, maybe not give us literally the same exact summons from the first game minus one new one. Little stuff like that. But that's for another time. That's for the day when I actually do a playthrough of Dark Dawn. So, no idea when that's gonna fit in the schedule. When the moment comes, the moment will come, I suppose. Anyways, all those tangents aside, I was bringing it up because I am right at the final boss. And it's kind of a testament to how difficulty in Golden Sun Dark Dawn works in the first place, because from the point of Savetta permanently joining the party to the point of the literal final boss, games actually been kind of easy, even though I'm using literally only 3 of the 8 party members that they give you through the entire game. And the fact that I could be using 4 of those party members at once, so I am technically handicapping myself by giving myself one less turn to work with than I would in a normal playthrough of Golden Sun. On top of the fact that I would have 4 backup characters in a normal Golden Sun playthrough. So yeah, it's kind of a testament to just how easy the game is. If the fact that I was using 1 party member up to that point. Like, I knew Savetta was broken, but I think the funny part, and the part that's allowing me to enjoy this so much despite how easy it's been, is just how much chemistry Himi, the final female party member, actually has with freaking Savetta. Like, she has a class exclusive to her that allows you to status everything. Her default class has a synergy that maxes out your attack in a single move, which has incredibly good chemistry with Savetta's abilities of basically turn beast mode, get a huge attack boost, and obliterate everything. Unfortunately, now that I'm at the final boss, though, I have to actually sync. I think I'm at the second. Next time I actually do that is going to be my 3rd attempt, because I've actually had my party wipe the previous 2 times. Imagine playing the game with only 3 of 8 party members and actually not being able to beat it first try. Who would have thought? So it kind of makes me really wonder how I'm actually going to handle playing Dark Dawn for the playthrough, because I want to, like, make it somewhat of a challenge. Like, I don't want to play the game completely as they would normally give you the challenge, because that would be too easy. For me, at least. There's definitely an appeal to not having to worry about the challenge, but I think it would make it more fun for a playthrough on a stream if there was at least something else going on. If not to increase the difficulty, then to just be able to play through the game again without playing through the same exact game again. So yeah, I want to have some sort of rule set to spice up the action, but the one downside of doing the girls only run was I felt like I was missing out on a lot of the game because I was limiting myself to 3 party members, and like one of the few things that Dark Dawn does is it makes each of the party members feel distinct from each other. With Golden Sun 1 you got Isaac, Golden Sun 2 you got Felix. They're essentially the same person from a gameplay standpoint. And I've been to Sheba in a similar stance. There are minor stats differences between the two. It's more noticeable with the shift from Ivan to Sheba, just because Ivan is so frail to begin with that the fact that Sheba's slightly more defensive is more noticeable when your alternative is someone made out of cardboard and paper. However, I was cool with it in Golden Sun 1 and 2 because it kind of makes sense from a narrative standpoint. Like, these two parties were separated for the majority of the adventure. So when they come together, it didn't feel as stale, I guess, that some of them were pretty similar to each other. However, I did like it in Dark Dawn when they really took advantage of the fact of knowing from the beginning that we were going to have a game of 8 party members, 2 of each element, and went out of their way to make each of them feel distinct. I guess that's kind of like part of the appeal of Jenna, and Pierce to a similar extent. Like, as I was saying, Isaac plays like Felix, Ivan plays like Sheba, but even in Lost Age you got things like Jenna playing drastically different from Garrett, and Pierce playing drastically different from Mia. At least in their base classes. Obviously when you mix classes around and the party members they have 2 white mages, they kind of feel the same. But that's only to be fair because even like Golden Sun 1, if you have multiple party members in the same in the same class, they're gonna play very similarly because they're in the same class. So yeah, I like how in Dark Dawn they knew this going in, so all the party members feel different in their base class. And the whole point I was trying to get at before is that because I was only playing with 3 of the 8 party members throughout the entire game, felt like I was missing out on a lot, like especially playing with Ilio. And at least with this final boss, it's certainly built around the concept of having 4 party members in the back, so there's still a lot of room with trying to find a middle ground between having something that fits the amount of challenge, or at least keeps the gameplay interesting enough for me, but avoiding that feeling of missing out on a good chunk of the gameplay aspects that actually make Dark Dawn special. I don't like with how I'm feeling about Savannah, because like, I could just make a no beast mode rule and avoid cheesing a lot of the game because of that, but on the other hand, like, beast mode is such a unique aspect to Golden Sun. Like, for those of you who don't play Golden Sun, maybe I should actually explain how that works real quick. Savannah is basically a werewolf, so there's times in battles where you can choose to go into a beast mode, and she'll become a werewolf. Now this game's just going on pretty long as is, so I'm not going to explain everything about how gens work. I assume that if you're following this channel, you have some experience. If not, I would recommend like Googling it. But most of the time you're using gens, and they go into standby when you use them, and then you save up their powers to unleash a powerful summon, and that's been the general Golden Sun formula since the very beginning. Beast mode kind of turns that on its head, because instead of using your gens and then summoning them, your gens that have not been used yet act as a timer for how long you can be in this beast mode form. So you lose access to all those gens for the entire time frame of Beast Mode, including the fact of not being able to summon those gens after you use them. In exchange, however, you get a huge attack boost. Like, it's freaking ridiculous how huge, to the point where summoning the fact that you can't summon doesn't even matter, because you're practically doing summon amounts of damage every attack. And your gens basically get treated like they're being summoned every turn one by one until Savetta runs out of gens and she reverts back to normal without any gens in set or standby. So you basically get this huge boost to your abilities that rival even summoning, in exchange for leaving yourself incredibly vulnerable to attacks because you don't have the genies to support you once the beast mode finally runs out. Funny enough, like, the final boss is a good example of how to balance this, because if you have an ability that just puts all the gens onto recovery right away, Savetta obviously can't keep the beast mode going, so it reverts back to normal and is left vulnerable early. So it's easy to see how something like that can be incredibly broken, but I don't want to just ignore it completely because it's part of the game, and if I'm streaming it, I want to show off everything about the game so people can see what there is to love about it and what there is to hate about it. So just ignoring one of the few times that Dark Dawn actually deviates from this whole Djinn formula of using Djinns, summoning Djinns, etc. just doesn't feel fair to the game. And unfair to me as a player who wants to enjoy that game for everything it can offer. So yeah, that's a very long and convoluted dilemma I'm at with figuring out how I want to play Golden Sun Dark Dawn when I do eventually get around to streaming it. And that certainly was a tangent, considering I'm at half an hour and I haven't even talked about the progress I've been making with Dawn Djinn or the Paper Mario project as of late. But I guess that's nothing new for Game & Chill, just going off on all these extravagant tangents. It's nice to actually talk about something different besides just I did this, I did that, and then that, and then that, and then that for once. And it's cool that I'm actually able to get that deviation without relying on the gameplay of whatever I'm playing to distract me. This would have been better to do at the beginning of the Game & Chill, but better late than never. I started a weekly blog on the channel, BLOG, not to be confused with VLOG, a good old written blog of everything that I've been up to for the week, and I've been trying to do that on a weekly basis. So I do try to make a tweet every week after I write a blog, so don't worry, you don't have to like check the website every Saturday and hope that I actually remember to make it. I'll tweet it out when I do, and I'm trying to get in a better habit of like using the YouTube community tab to post when I'm doing those when I make those vlogs as well. If you're interested in the projects I do, like Golden Sun Dawn Djinn, and the work I've been doing with Paper Mario, I would highly recommend those vlogs, as even though there's miscellaneous things like how in the last one I talked about how my Pokemon Go community day went. Shoot, this is a Game & Chill that happened shortly after Pokemon Go community day, and I haven't even talked a tiny bit about that. Oh, let me put a pin on that. Finishing off this point. Even though there's exceptions, this is a very good source of semi-frequent updates of how my projects relating to actually making video games have been going, because not only is that the primary topic of these vlogs, but I also divide them up into categories. Like, I have a section specifically for work I've made with Paper Mario stuff, and a section specifically for progress I made with Golden Sun stuff. So yeah, good stuff to talk about. We're at over half an hour. I was trying to make this shorter because it's both commentated, but screw it. I gotta talk about the GoFest finality event a little bit. I might just have to breeze through it quicker than I was originally hoping. Especially because, honestly, the first part of GoFest felt really underwhelming. But because I bought that ticket, I got free access to the Go Fest finality event. And I'm happy to say that that event was a lot more fun. Tempted to say that it justified the entire cost of the ticket even. That might be a little bit of a stretch though. Like, I enjoyed the story from the first Go Fest. It was like the only good thing from the first Go Fest part, in my opinion. And they continued that story onwards in the Go Fest finale, which is points in my book. I don't know, just the Ultra Beast, it felt more fun to hunt for the Ultra Beast and raids compared to just going after the same legendaries that we have several dozen times already. In fact, I'm pretty sure things like Kyogre, Groudon, and Mewtwo all have been featured in previous year's Go Fest. Granted, they are incredibly good Pokemon that you want to catch as many as possible, or you should, because of the whole candy system and all that. But didn't really feel fun to actually go for them the 20 millionth time. And while the Ultra Beast might not be as viable for things in Pokemon Go as those other Pokemon, they felt more fun to catch and collect because they were new. Plus, with the whole Go Fest finality, they gave you Beast Balls, and they actually played into the fact of the game's lore of Beast Balls, making it easier to catch Ultra Beast. Because for the Go Fest for the first part of Go Fest, on day 2, they had an Ultra Beast and they were stupid to catch. And in this, because the Ultra Beast, you got Ultra Balls and they make the Ultra Beast easy to catch, it was significantly easier to catch those Ultra Beasts, like to the point where you can actually see how much easier they are. Bet even casual players noticed the difference. Plus, you got each of the Ultra Beasts in the special research tied to the event, so even if you weren't lucky enough to actually find people to raid, and honestly, I could have easily been in that boat if it wasn't for the fact that I kept so many people on my friends list from back when I really was into the Pokemon Go community, and a lot of them still actually accepted my remote raid invites. Point being, I'm trying to say is remote raiding is pretty much the only reason I'm actually able to do raids anymore. Even then, like, it usually takes an event like this to do so, but that's a whole other discussion. Point being, like, with the special research, even if you weren't lucky enough to find people to raid with, which I totally understand, you're still able to get at least one of each of the Ultra Beasts. Honestly, which is all you need. I've heard things about the electric one that being good, but beyond that, the Ultra Beasts are kind of just for collector's purposes anyways. I think there was a good assortment of wild Pokemon to catch as well, which helps. I'm not going to get too far into those details because I don't think I'm a good judge of that anymore. Like, I feel like I've seen everything, and everything in Pokemon Go comes out at such a slow turn at this point that not really much feels special anymore. So even just trying to describe what quote-unquote is good about this event is kind of tainting my memory to be more negative towards it, so I'm going to just stop before it gets to that point. I had better shiny luck, which makes me personally more happy. I know that shiny shouldn't be a judge of if an event is good in Pokemon Go or not, but it's hard not to because there's not too many other things left in this game to get me excited, which is why I'm really happy that the Ultra Beast made the event feel as special as it is, but I think that's like half the reason why I don't enjoy doing all-day events anymore, and would rather just do a community day. Yeah, it's just community day. There's a lot more going on in an event like this than there is in a community day, but I like the fact that, but I enjoy the concept of just picking up as many shinies as I can so I can hold on to them and trade them in other places like Pokemon Home and Wonder Trade to hopefully brighten up someone's day that doesn't play Pokemon Go brighten up their day with a shiny they weren't expecting or something. That's kind of the main thing that makes me come back to community days time and time again, regardless on what the Pokemon is or what move it gets. The concept of just going out and collecting shinies for 2 to 3 hours feels much more enjoyable than being outside in the blazing sun all day for 2 days straight and then just panicking about how I've gotten nothing done over the weekend because of that. That being said, I still miss when community days were 6 hours long, because then I could actually pick which of the 2 or 3 hours I wanted to play at. And no, I don't count the stupid ratings thing that they do after Community Day as an extension to Community Day. Like, it feels like it's specifically made to not work with me. Between the whole, oh, you have to do the raids with local people, you can't remote anyone in, or the concept of you do a raid of a mid-state Pokemon that you don't want just to get slightly more Pokemon spawns to have an increased shiny chance. Like, that doesn't feel as fun as just going out and walking and catching the Pokemon. Sorry, I'm getting on the ranting and all that. You see why I don't do Pokemon Go content on the channel anymore? It would just turn into all these rants and rambling. Like, even when I'm talking about something I enjoyed with the game, I can't help but seep back into everything I don't like about the game and keep bringing up why I don't consider myself a Pokemon Go fan anymore. Doesn't help that I'm recording this on a day I'm not feeling well, when it is already pretty hot out, and I'm had the AC off for over an hour at this point to try to improve quality and all that. Just so sorry. Let me try to get back on tangent. Like, had good shiny luck. Go Fest finale was fun. I wish I would have just saved my money, not done Go Fest, and just paid the $10 to do Go Fest finale. That's just how much more this finale event appealed to me personally compared to the initial Go Fest event. Feels unfair to rant because you might be able to tell from the way I'm describing it. I'm at the point where I enjoy Pokemon Go much more in short spurts, rather than doing an all-day thing of it. I enjoy for it to be my excuse to get out and walk for the day. Speaking of which, let me pull out my shinies real quick. First thing I got right at the very start of the day was an Landerous, which got me really excited, honestly, because that's a shiny that's been out for a while. I have a soft spot for Landerous, honestly, and the fact that it was one of the first things I saw was very unexpected. It's a cute little fossil. I think it's actually an underrated fossil Pokemon. Pretty cute, adorable. Really happy to finally get one. Wouldn't say it's my white whale, but it's one of those ones that I was trying to get for a long time, couldn't. But then, like, I had no shiny luck for like the rest of the 2 hours that I was at the park. So after walking the park for that time frame and getting my raids in, I decided to go get some lunch and take a break and check out a local event that was going on not too far away after the lunch, like close enough to actually be within walking distance from where I was eating. And that's when I got caught off guard with some more shiny luck. Like, first I got Shinx, was just like, on one hand it's like, oh hey, I'm actually getting shinies again, and on the other hand it's like, I kinda already got a dozen of these because there's a community day for it, and this is how my luck is gonna pan out. Okay. But I kid you not, like, within like a few minutes from that, I got the shiny Pikachu, the form of the Pikachu that was being featured at the event, which is wild. And a little bit later, I got Clink and a Lila. Excuse me, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce today. it's a miracle that I'm even still alive right now. I swear, like, the Clink and the Lily were almost right next to each other. It's basically shiny Clink, one random spawn, then shiny Lily. Though that was, unfortunately, like, all my luck with shinies for the rest of the time I was out. And, like, last hour I decided to go home, but the last 2 hours I decided to go home because I was already outside for I was well out of my threshold of amount of summer I can handle in a single day. So I decided to go home and try to cool off. And I found the shiny Clefairy as I was home writing the blog. And got myself a second shiny Pikachu. Like, I was really hoping for the Munna, because Munna is another one of those Pokemon that I really like. But I mean, considering like it took me several dozen years to finally get the shiny Landerous and the shiny Clink, I guess it's not too surprising that I didn't get the shiny the same event that it debuted in. Would have been much cooler than the second Pikachu, but if I still had friends, then maybe I could just trade one of these Pikachus for one, but nah, that's not gonna happen anytime soon, unfortunately. Sorry for getting really negative at the end. Pokemon Go kinda does that to me, though, but I did enjoy my time with the Go Fest finale enough that I really wanted to bring it up at least a little bit. And it probably won't feel as bad once I actually edit. I can just clip out the parts that I feel get really terrible. But yeah, not gonna. This is already too long as is. So thanks for tuning in for this edition of the Game and Chill. And hopefully next week or next month, whatever next Game and Chill is, I'll be more up to actually playing and commentating, and hopefully I'll be in a better mood. Sorry if this is a little bit more negative than I usually do with this stuff. It helps me to get this off my chest too a little, so if you all don't mind, then I don't mind, but if you do mind, I apologize. Take care.